Welcome to the very first episode of That David Podcast with me, David, and my first guest, Mikhila McDaid, Miss Budget Beauty on YouTube. First things first, a massive shout out to Cast in Doncaster for letting us have the space to record. You'll see a lot of the cast as we go along on this podcasting journey together. Also a huge thank you to Jeffrey Hewitt, who helps out with the audio, sound, video and everything. He's an absolute lifesaver. Thanks, Jeff. The podcast between me and Mikhila actually ended up being over 3.5 hours long, so we've decided to split it into two podcasts. Here's part one of the That David Podcast with David and Mikhila.
And I ran up to her and I was so excited, and I ran up to her and I went, I know you, but you don't know me. and I swear to God, she just like blanked me. Genuinely, actually, one of the only people I've ever met that I've gone,
I'm reading it in one room, Donetta's in the other room. As soon as I read that bit, I ran in with a book and I'm like...
7 months, and I was climbing the walls, and I started making YouTube videos, so I had nothing but time. I have often wondered if Netflix was a thing before YouTube, if I'd ever have done this.
Whatever you think. All I think is I can chat, everything else just needs to look good on YouTube.
Everything else is you.
Yeah. I don't know, leave lights on, eh?
Yeah, I feel like there was a combination of 1, 2 and 3. God.
It's mental. There is just too many options. Then lights over there. See all them buttons on the far one? They're all different light settings.
Right, that'll do.
What do they use this for?
This is a meeting room. There's a big wall as well there, look.
That's a lot of light settings for a meeting room.
Yeah.
I know.
Is that a blind?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And there's a button there that opens those flaps over there. So it opens the windows if it's too hot and that.
Are they windows?
Yeah, apparently.
Who did this?
I don't know. Is it? Did she say it was built as like an eco building or something?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Quite a few of them are built in that way now, so you can...
And it's built for perfect audio. I don't know if you can tell, but your voice just don't go anywhere. And
I
even more so in the other rooms, though,
Yeah,
innit?
yeah,
The other rooms, it's like you go, hello. That's it. Your voice don't go anywhere. And it's like, whoa, this is mental.
like being in a sound booth.
Yeah, it really is.
I maintain that the best place you can film anything is in a car. It's like your own personal sound booth.
Yes. See, I said that as well, and somebody, because one of the ideas was, why don't I just drive around everywhere?
Yeah.
And then I can interview everyone.
I mean, you couldn't do
over.
this.
No.
In a car.
No. And
but
this is what the
You
vision.
could do it on a camera, and the sound would be so good compared to if we did it on the camera in here.
That could be, we'll do that together.
Yeah, totally.
Travel one.
We could do.
I've got a 7-seater, so...
I mean, there's only 2 of us, but sure.
Yeah, we can get some guests in. Come everyone get...
Oh, that would be amazing. Pick up different people.
Yeah, yeah.
That would be so funny.
Like carpool karaoke, but
Yes.
carpool podcasting. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be good.
It's all ready to go, by the way.
Oh, right, we're all going. See, I like that little bit of chat there. I'll probably put a little bit of that in. 'Cause that sounds really cool, I think. I just shit myself thinking Audacity definitely still is working in background. But I'm pretty sure it is.
But again, you're filming it anyway.
Yeah, so
Worst
that's
case,
that.
doesn't matter.
So I suppose let's get going then. So welcome back to That David Podcast. I sometimes think, do I have to like be a bit professional here and do a proper intro? I'm with Mikhila McDaid. Am I saying that right?
Correct.
Miss Budget Beauty on YouTube.
Yes.
Amazing. That's Mikhila.
That's me.
For the audio listeners.
For the audio listeners, I am Mikhila.
That's right. If you're watching on video, Mikhila's the one
Hello.
that isn't wearing a hat. So I've got Mikhila in today because someone I've followed now for, I don't remember the first time we spoke, but I'm thinking it's definitely like over a year ago.
Yeah, when you say someone I followed for, and then you don't answer the question, it's like, what he actually means is 2 weeks.
No, it's been a couple of years, I reckon.
Only because I'm from Doncaster, and you must have found me somehow because I live in the area.
Obviously, I started doing YouTube and blogging and stuff about 3 years ago. I've come across you somehow, somewhere. Probably, I think Twitter for some reason.
Maybe so.
I used to be really like on Twitter all the time, and now it bores me to tears.
I love Twitter.
Do you? I love it and hate it, but more hate it than love it. Every time I click on Twitter, and then I come off Twitter, I feel a bit worse.
You're following the wrong people.
I am, which is why I unfollowed everybody a few months ago.
Literally everybody.
Yeah.
Just
Do you know
clean slate.
Chrome browser? There's an extension you can get on Chrome, and you press a button, and it unfollows everybody on your Twitter for you. And
Wow.
I clicked the button, gone.
over.
immediately got put in somebody's WhatsApp group, slagging me off. Has that David unfollowed you? Like, what pretty great wanker him. Like, within seconds, and I'm not even exaggerating.
How do you know that?
Because the people like to then call you out and tell you about it. Well, actually, somebody called me out and went, oh, you've unfollowed us, blah, 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 whatever. And I said, oh, I've actually unfollowed everybody, so don't be putting me in your WhatsApp group moaning. As a joke, he then sent me a screenshot of me actually being put in the WhatsApp group a few minutes before that. I'm talking, I'd pressed the button on Chrome 10 minutes ago. It was ridiculous.
Don't take this personally, I'm going to rebuild.
Yeah.
So,
I was planning on refollowing most of them, but they were already had me in this thing, so now I don't follow them because they're pricks.
I don't understand. So like the people that have got those apps that tell you who's unfollowed you. Why would you? Why? Why do you want to know if someone's unfollowed you?
Yeah, I mean, I think we do have one on Instagram.
Get rid of it. Why do you need that?
I don't have it on my phone.
Not,
Donetta has it on hers.
It's not of any benefit to you whatsoever to know when someone has decided, I don't like this anymore.
I think Donetta, although the other day, somebody that we really didn't expect to ever unfollow us did, and Donetta were like, this is why I have this app, because I'm unfollowing them now. Because I actually didn't think that they would ever unfollow us, because they're supposed to be kind of friends, but I think that's another weird thing, isn't it then? Friends on the internet, trying to pick out who is actually a friend and who's you're just on the internet.
Well, like when someone unfollows you though, you don't know why. Like I've unfollowed people because they're talking about something and I just don't want to see it in my feed. And I know I'll follow them back again at some point.
Yeah.
But let's say they keep getting into arguments with people or whatever. I like the person, but I just don't need to see that on my feed.
Yes.
And I would hate to think someone was like, I hate her. Like, because I'd done something so trivial. Because it truly is.
Yeah, it will be. I cannot believe she wore a green top. What's she wearing green for? She knows I don't like green. But anyway, so we probably met on Twitter, and I think I will have said like, oh, look, hey, you're Doncaster, I'm Doncaster. As soon as I saw you, because on Twitter, obviously, I don't think I will have seen you.
Probably not.
Like, maybe just a profile picture or whatever. I remember thinking, I definitely know you. I definitely recognise you. I have no idea. And still to this day,
Just
a couple of years on,
streets.
yeah, I have no idea. But we're exactly the same age.
Are we?
I think so.
How old are you?
33.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. When's your birthday?
4th February.
All right, I'm April.
Oh.
So we're almost bang on the same age. Couple of months in it.
Imagine if you'd said.
You're like 10th of April. I'm like, I'm 10th of April.
I should have looked it up.
Yeah. So, yeah, I remember thinking, I definitely know this person. And then, obviously, since then, we've spoken every now and again. Mm-hmm. And then it's led to, hey, I'm going to do a podcast. Who wants to come on podcast? And then I'm thinking, please, Michael, will you come on podcast? Because obviously I'm thinking, I want people, this podcast, one thing I definitely want to get across is it's nothing to do with the size of the person online following who I want on, but it also makes sense that people that are doing something and doing it really well, especially online, because that's my domain, that's where I hang around all day, it just makes sense to get those people on when they live in the same town.
I mean, I've never travelled less distance to do something.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you've been everywhere. You did something with Brummy Mummy?
Yes.
Emma, is that right? I always go in for it, like, with people's names, and then as soon as I've said it, I think, I actually have no idea if that's right.
Yeah. There's loads of people I don't know the real names of, because you just know them by whatever name they are online, and then you're like,
The people are like, oh, do you know Miss Budget Beauty?
Yeah, exactly. And loads of people don't know my name.
No, which they should, because
now it's my name on social.
Yeah.
But for a long time it wasn't, and I would introduce myself as Kyla.
Yes, I noticed that.
Which threw people off even more, because you can't say Mikhila without saying Michaela. Kyla was Kylie. Yeah. All kinds of different versions of. I've lost tables to Michelle's. Like, people cannot get their head around Michaela. It blows my mind.
Yeah, we weren't recording, but I called you Michaela already because all I've done since you were coming on is think, do not call her Michaela. Don't call her Michaela. And then I'm like,
even though that is my name.
Don't call her Michaela. See, this is why it's so confusing. M. This is M.
Yeah.
From now on, you're
I
M.
do not care. The only time I ever am annoyed by it is if let's say, for example, you call yourself David, and then I called you Dave, and you took exception to me calling you Dave, and I know a person that does this, and then you call me Michaela, then I'd be pissed. Yeah. But on a day-to-day basis, who cares?
Yeah. I mean, I'm just really happy I've got the most bog standard name that there is. I mean, David, literally the only thing you can say is, oh, Dave. Yeah. And I think, well, no, it's David. Have you not seen my branding? Is it not working? Everything says David all the time. I've never ever called myself Dave ever in my life. But all my family call me Dave. I got an email.
I've never called myself Dave in my life, but all my family
Yeah, they do, and I don't know why. And I had an email the other day. In fact, this morning someone responded to my email saying, "Hi, Dave." And I'm thinking, your first email said David, probably because you copied and pasted it from being David and Donetta.
Yeah.
And then I've responded and at the end said, "Thank you, David."
Yeah.
And now you're just, oh, we must be best mates. He's emailed back. Let's call him Dave.
That drives me nuts because at work, if I send an email, and it's different when it's PR because I just think, they're sending emails to so many different people, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But at work, like, number one, my name is in my email. You are responding to an email where I have put my name at the bottom, and still you can't spell it right.
Yeah.
Really?
I think it's so unprofessional, especially if it's about work.
Yeah. It's crazy to me, but I really am not offended by it. Whereas if you call me Mikhila in front of my mom, she might slap you in the face.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, it's more her name than it is yours, if you think that way, that she chose it. I've got the biggest amount of notes ever, and I had a bit of a thing yesterday. I was saying to Donetta, I said, I'm not so sure now whether I'm being a good podcaster interviewer by putting in the research, or I'm just a plain stalker. Like, I think I know things about you that most of your fans don't know. Like, I had your YouTube channel on, and I said to Donetta, I said, I'm going to switch this up, and I'm going to swap it to the oldest video first. And I watched some of your stuff from, like, 7 years ago.
The ones you sent me yesterday, 9 years ago.
Oh, 9 years ago it was,
with
yeah,
the pink
yeah.
stripe in it.
Oh, it goes back so far. Yeah, and watching that, and do you know what? Your videos now are obviously a million times better because of technology and stuff. And obviously your confidence, you've grown and all the rest of it. But I actually really enjoyed watching them because, and I don't know what it is, because I enjoy watching our older stuff as well. And I don't know whether there's something to be said about the content before you knew, not that you've changed and not that I have, but before YouTube was like
Before
a
you knew
job,
someone might watch it.
money, people watching.
Yeah.
It was more, I think you can tell, and it's maybe a subconscious thing with probably both of our channels now. You're kind of doing it because people are watching, whereas back then it were almost like, I'm doing this just because I love it. I just really like it. And I think you can maybe tell in everybody's channels nowadays. I mean, most people now set up a channel because they want to build a following or get money. Whereas, like, watching your videos back then, it was just so clear that, like, no one else does this. I think you mentioned somebody called Zoe Bella, is it right?
This always makes me laugh. The first person I ever saw on YouTube, she occasionally makes videos, but it's like really hit and miss and random videos that she makes.
Is she still around?
Yeah, well, here
Kinda,
and there,
right,
she'll occasionally make a video. But she was from the South in America, which all of the people I followed were from the South in America initially.
Yeah.
And she was called Zoe Bella, which is just hilarious, given that the biggest YouTuber at the time, and probably still now, is Zoella.
Yeah.
And I'd never heard of her.
Who came first? Do you know?
Of who?
Zoe
Of all the
Bella and Zoella.
Oh, I have no idea. I guarantee Zoe Bella had no idea who Zoella was.
I was going to say, because can you imagine if we've just uncovered that Zoella called herself Zoella because of Zoe Bella? God, all these names are so...
She's a woman with, like, I don't know how many subscribers she's got, but Zoella's definitely never heard of her either.
Yeah.
But it was just a complete coincidence. And it was her... I love this story, actually. It was her. And the reason I found her was, funnily enough, fine, because I was dyeing my hair pink. And so in my very, very early videos, I have black hair with a pink stripe. And I had a hairdresser come into my house. She was going to do this thing. And I was looking on Google Images. One of these Google Images turned into a video. And it was this woman. And then I saw she made other videos. Yeah. And I was hooked. And then there was a whole tag a long time ago where... and I've only ever seen these few ones. I should really go and see if anyone's done them since. Where you take off your favourite YouTuber. Yeah. We should bring this tag back.
Yes.
Because I could wear a hat, like
the
whole thing.
Yeah, that's mine.
Yeah, but it would be really funny. There was a whole tag, and so I then found a bunch of different people because she took off her favourite YouTuber, who was someone called Lana Indiana, who I still follow and is fantastic. I think she's in her 60s. She obviously is from... 60s? She is amazing.
She do like beauty and fashion, that niche.
She is amazing. And again, she went away for a long time. Her husband died. It was very sad. It was very like... I think she got a lot of criticism and stuff, which she was able to deal with it. But then when something really tragic happens, I think you have to kind of step away. She's come back recently, and I just love her so much.
She's ace.
So
she's in her 60s, and she's smashing YouTube.
Fabulous, absolutely fabulous. I'll show you a picture of her later. You won't believe it. She's like proper glamours on.
Yeah.
And then she started talking about this other person, and I found all these people because they were talking like in a funny way, because obviously they're taking them off, but they were talking about this community.
Yeah.
And I made videos after watching these few women from the South in America. I had absolutely no idea. Like Fleur de Force was quite popular at that time. Lots of beauty gurus, they were called then.
Beauty gurus.
I know, it's just mega cringe. And I had absolutely no idea. And that, for sure, when you watch those first videos, you can see the influence of, I was watching people and I thought this is what you did.
Yeah.
And I always wonder, if I found YouTube before I found those women, if I found like it another way, my channel could have been something completely different.
Yeah.
I was only a beauty YouTuber because they are the people I found on YouTube.
Yeah, right.
But if I'd found like something like, I don't know, tech or comedy even, not that I'm hilarious, but you know, something where something like vlogging. What if I found people just daily vlogging? Yeah,
which is probably, thinking about it, my story then, because the first people I started watching, like Casey Neistat.
Yes.
And then I started thinking, I want to be Casey Neistat. Yeah. And then I thought, Doncaster, as much as I love Doncaster,
it's not New York though, is it?
It's not New York, and I'm thinking, could I skateboard around in Doncaster Town Centre?
That would be amazing.
I mean, I could give it a go, but
board.
I can't really skateboard. So you found those, and then obviously were like, oh my God, this is ace.
Yeah.
Like, I want to do this.
Yeah.
And I assume you obviously already liked makeup, beauty,
but
fashion.
not, honest to God, like looking at it, I'm like, I didn't have a lot of makeup. I didn't wear loads and loads of makeup. I was not an absolute crazy person. Like, what do you call it? What's the word I'm looking for?
Crazy person.
No, like a beauty addict, a beauty.
Right.
There's a word I'm missing, and I can never think of it in the moment. But I wasn't a junkie. That's the word I'm looking
junkie.
for.
All right.
Wasn't a beauty junkie.
That's where we're going with that. A beauty junkie.
Yes.
Right. So you're not one of those.
Well, I am
you
now,
are now,
but I wasn't then.
No. And I noticed as well in earlier videos, because what I started doing was scrolling back then, or like towards now, and there was loads of tags.
Yeah.
Like lots of tag videos. But what I found really, really interesting was the tags that I've then seen people doing recently, and I'm like, this has been around forever. You know, like when a tag comes around, like, I mean, I can't actually remember any of the titles, but there'll be a tag and everybody goes mad for it for 6 months, and every YouTuber on YouTube does the tag. And then I'm like, Mikhila did this like 9 years ago. It's not a new thing, but everyone thinks it's a new thing. Another thing that I noticed from going further back as well, which I think is just mental, and when I actually, we'll move on to that in a bit, when I asked people for questions, the same question came up a million times. And it relates to this, but back then I noticed like you'll have 3 thumbnails in a row, 3 videos in a row where you're wearing exactly the same. So it was probably obvious that, and I think you mentioned in one of them, you were knocking out 3 videos a day. Not uploading them, but filming them. I was genuinely
uploading them. There was no rhyme or reason or like strategy to it. Like, if I got 3 videos, they just went up one after the other.
That's
just
it.
Uploaded and didn't even, like, there were hardly any descriptions. It was just, these are 3 videos and they're up on YouTube.
And you were doing that in one day, 3 videos, one day, bang, they're up. And I noticed, like, I must have scrolled through 2 or 3 years, and I'm like, you were constantly doing that quite a lot. Like, the thumbnails were quite obvious that you must have filmed them at the same time, kind of thing. And I just think, and then moving now, what I was just saying a second ago about people's question, the one question everybody wanted to ask you is basically like, how the hell are you so productive? How do you do everything that you do? Because what I should probably say a bit more about you is, obviously you do YouTube. You do actually have, let's just say, a
real job.
Yeah, a real job. It's just the best way to describe it. I don't know if I agree with it.
But I have an office job.
Yeah, so
it's a proper descriptor without, you know, but it is a real job, let's face it.
So you've got the office job, you've got your YouTube channel, you've got the book, you wrote a book.
Yeah, but I did that. I'm not still doing that.
No, but you did that, but it must have took up such a long time.
Yeah, last year was hard.
You have written a book, and you've got obviously your blog, and all of it, other than obviously the book being a one-off thing, like all of it's very, very constant, active. And then I hadn't even mentioned you've actually got a life, a husband, kids.
I have a life.
Yeah, you have like real life, being a mum and being a wife, things to do.
Yeah.
And the one thing, and obviously thinking back, you must have always been like this, banging out 3 videos in one day, which is mega. And then obviously now what you're doing 9 years on, you're still managing to do all of this stuff constantly, all the time. Like, how? Is it anything to do with Monster?
I mean, it's for sure. What that, I swear to God, I turned up and he's bought me an energy drink. And I'm so tempted. I haven't had one in, I'm going to say 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I was fully addicted. I could be having 4 a day.
Wow.
And I've got really good life insurance.
Yeah.
I pay a lot of money for life insurance.
Because
and
of Monster.
Yeah, whenever anyone would be like, I don't know, something about Monster, I'd be like, look, I'm covered. This house is going to be paid for. If this kills me, it'll be worth it.
Just shut up and fetch
what
me
is
a
my
can.
life worth? This house.
Yeah.
Like, this is what we'll pay. It's
Yeah.
fine. So, whatever. But I realised it was not great for me. And so I kind of gave up on it a little bit. But last year, there were times when I was like through the night working on the book because my deadline was the end of the summer holidays.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but if I've got a deadline, that's when I'll do it.
I hate deadlines.
I can't manage my time.
I hate deadlines.
But I'll work the night before, then I do it. And I'm trying to get better, but that's not my way of doing things. And so 6-week holidays, I was like rammed with stuff I should have done earlier than that. So Monster totally got me through it. But funnily enough, I have just filmed a video about this and how I manage my time and like how I do everything.
So there is a strategy to how you manage your time, or a loose plan.
But yeah, it is. It's not a strategy. It's not really like I've got any particular tips. But I would say that probably what makes me different to the average person is that because I had a baby when I was 19, I've thought a lot about this. Like, why am I the way I am?
Yeah.
Because I had a baby when I was 19, I've never had any time. And so if you give me a couple of hours to myself, I can't just sit around and do nothing with that time. I can do that when I've got the baby. So if I had 2 hours to myself, I would be super productive. If you took my kids, if it was like in the summer holidays and someone just came and collected them, I had the house to myself and they weren't bringing them back till 6 o'clock.
You would be productive.
I would be incredible. I could do like 6 or 7 videos in that time.
That is
for sure.
That is great. See, that though, I think you're born with that. I think, or you're born with an element of it that you can enhance and stuff.
Thing.
Yeah, because one of the questions I always get in the blogging, I don't know why people seem to come to me because I really don't know as much as it might look, as you've seen trying to set this podcast up this morning. But people are always asking me questions about productivity, this, that, and the other. And I always think, right, it don't matter what time you post on Facebook page. It don't matter this, it don't matter that. It matters if you work hard. If you're sick, because the one thing I always get is, oh, but I don't have time to do that. And I always think, well, that's funny, because all you've done is watch Game of Thrones on Netflix. I'm looking at Jeff behind the camera, by the way, because he's a Game of Thrones fan.
So he's the person that asked you, and you were like, stop watching Game of Thrones and actually work.
Yeah, I just think like a lot of people, it's like, it's nothing to do with your branding. It's nothing to do with X, Y, all the excuses they come up with. It's to do with the fact that you tell me you have no time, yet I know that you've absolutely done fuck all on Instagram stories today, and then you watch Netflix all night. It's like, you have got time to do stuff if you want to do it.
This is the thing. You have to want to do it. Like, if I was working from home, working for someone else, I wouldn't be nearly as productive. And much as it is work, it 100% is. And you know, editing, there's parts of the job that you don't enjoy.
Oh, of course.
There's parts of it that feel like, I don't want to have to create another effing thumbnail.
Yeah,
I hate creating thumbnails so much.
You're very good at that, though.
Oh my god, I hate it so much. Well, I found a method now. And it's a bit easier.
I have a template and I just kind of swap bits.
It's my least favourite thing. But you have to do it because otherwise the rest of it's pointless.
Yeah.
But they do say, if you love your job, you never work a day in your life.
Exactly.
And so I think that's why it's not just as simple as being able to say to the average person who works from home, oh, it's easy, you do this and that. I wouldn't be this productive if I was working for someone else at a job I didn't enjoy.
Exactly.
It's only because I can sit and film videos and I love doing that. There's other bits of it I don't love doing.
Yeah.
But if I didn't love doing it, I would just go back to work full time and sack it off.
Yes.
Because why am I doing it? It's not like I'm making bank doing this.
Yeah,
I'm not rolling in it. It's subsidising the fact that I take 2 days of my week to dedicate to this.
Yeah.
But it's not like I could definitely earn the same money if I just did my regular job full time.
Yeah, yeah.
But I love doing this.
But you love doing it.
And that's why you make time.
I think a lot of people love the idea of being a YouTuber. They love the idea of being a blogger. But then basically when you have to say, right, okay then, so for the next 3 years, you have to put in full-time effort for absolutely fuck all return.
Yes.
But at the end of those 3 years,
you might have this.
Yeah, you might get an opportunity to film here. You might get an opportunity to film there. And things will start coming together, but it'll take years. Can you take those 3 years? Most people are like, oh, maybe I'll not bother then.
I've got a friend who used to do YouTube, doesn't really anymore, and she used to ask me all the time because when I first started, I didn't have a job. That's effectively why I started making YouTube videos. It was the only time in my life I've been unemployed. And it was just after the recession, so I just could not find another job. 7 months, and I was climbing the walls, and I started making YouTube videos. So I had nothing but time.
Yeah.
I was just like, I have to fill my days with something. I can't just sit around. Plus, Netflix wasn't a thing yet.
No. I mean, yeah,
once
that
it
has
was,
stopped people's productivity.
I've often wondered if Netflix was a thing before YouTube, if I'd ever have done this. Like, would I have just watched Netflix instead?
Probably not.
Maybe. But I used to do that, and then I worked full time, and I was still doing like 3 to 5 videos a week, a blog post every single day. And I had a friend that was saying to me all the time, you know, oh, you know, you're not having enough of a life, or you're not really kind of like, made me feel bad.
Yeah.
That I was taking time away from stuff that maybe I should be doing more or whatever. And I thought, no, you get home and watch Neighbours.
Yeah.
You get home and do, yes. And I get home and I do this. And it's not different. Like, this is just something that I am doing because I enjoy doing it. And people who only want to do those other things cannot understand.
No, they don't.
They will never understand why. I made a video for my friend at her wedding, and I didn't see it because obviously it's just you being you, but my mum said afterwards, like, you are so single focused.
Yeah.
Like, because I knew I knew all the shots I wanted to get. I knew at the end of the day. Like, I left that wedding at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I stayed up all night editing that video. So when she woke up the next day, she would have this video to watch of the wedding.
Oh, that is crazy.
And I was like, sitting on my sofa at like 4 o'clock in the morning, crying my eyes out, watching this thing. Like, and it was the most rewarding thing.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like I was.
It's not work.
It didn't feel like work. And my mum was like, you're watching you in my bridesmaid's dress, go around and take all these things, and completely blocking out anything else that is happening.
Yeah.
It's as if I was on my own there.
So I think that does go back to like what I was saying about you're born like that,
yes.
I believe. Or especially you must have much of that DNA in you to be so focused, motivated. And what's happened as well is because you've then like got this focus and motivation, because for a long time I felt focused and motivated, I just don't know what on.
Yeah.
And then it's almost like you've found that thing.
Yes.
So now you've found the thing that you actually love as well, and there is a way to be able to monetize that and make it part of your career, or for some people a full-time career. It's like it all mingles together and you're like, oh wow, this is, and that's how you become super productive. A lot of the people that think they want to be a YouTuber and a blogger and stuff, they want all of the stuff that they're seeing people like you now, like, oh, you've got this many subscribers, you might do this brand deal, oh, you're going on this cruise and holiday and all this type of stuff.
And they want to just go from here to there.
Yeah, exactly. Like one day Casey Neistat picked up a camera and didn't know what the fuck to do with it, and now he's like a genius filmmaker.
Yeah.
It's like I always like do you listen to Gary Vee?
I have. He's a bit much for me.
Is it?
I've listened to both of his books.
Yeah.
Because I'm an Audible fan.
Yes, yes.
And he is very, very motivating.
Yeah.
And he gets like I think the female equivalent of Gary Vee is Amy Schmittauer, who
I don't know.
turned me on to, you'll love her, turned me on to Gary Vee in the first place because she talked all about, she was like a big fan. She talked about him in her book as well.
Yeah.
And she's like big on YouTube, and she basically is his like female equivalent, but she's more balanced and a little bit less
Yeah.
a little bit less preachy.
He's one of them people that you have to probably watch 5 videos and then make a decision. If you just randomly go on one of his videos one day, you're like, who is this fucking idiot?
Yeah.
Especially like he's probably better accepted in small doses in America because I don't know, I think UK people, as soon as you see somebody who is a bit more rah in your face, you do tend to be a bit like, what the fuck? Whereas when you see it over in America, some of the American people I speak to, there is a lot of people that are quite rah in your face, and they seem to like that a bit more.
Well, he's like preaching the American dream effectively. Like,
yeah, he is, yeah.
But then also, when you know where he's come from, I think there's just a hint of hypocrisy with him that I don't enjoy, because he came from money. There was already a big business behind, and he will spin it as, I created this from nothing, which is not true.
Yeah.
He's very, like, if you
his
want,
dad
if you want
definitely put him on a fair bit.
It's it was big business anyway, and
Yeah.
he made it bigger, which is
Yeah.
great, but it's a bit like Donald Trump saying he created everything when he really didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, let's not even get started on him,
No.
but it's a
I almost
similar
said right at
thing.
the beginning, like, right, so today I've got Mikhila here, we're going to talk about politics and religion.
Yeah, go
I
for
said
it.
that to Jeff, and I spoke to Jeff, and he was like, what the fuck? No, we are
Oh,
not.
I'd be all over it. I mean, on that tack, I got a C in RE at school.
A C
and I
in
love to tell
RE.
this story because it was a 2-part paper, and half of it was, tell us facts about XYZ religion. And the second half was, and what do you think about this? And I only filled in the, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
And I got a C.
Yeah,
I was like,
well.
I got a C for my opinions.
Yeah, I actually think that RE probably is just all I mean, let's not talk about this.
It is though.
So, I have, oh my God, all these. No, there's so many things to ask you. This could actually, or should
Well,
be,
you know, we
3-4
can circle back.
hours.
There can be a second podcast.
I mean, we spoke a lot about the early days of your YouTube and stuff. What we haven't spoke about is how many channels that you have had.
Yeah, so many.
Like, so many. Like, and one, did you do a TTC channel?
Oh, yeah.
Did that absolutely
I totally
vanish?
forgot about that. No, it didn't. So I got...
Because I thought that'd be because we do like pregnancy updates
Yeah.
now, and things like that Donetta finds so interesting.
Yeah, I did too at the time.
Is it recording? Yeah. Oh, cool, nice. All right, thanks for that, mate.
Yes.
Well, I'll leave that bit in.
Information.
Jeff's just going for a wee, everyone. His link's in the description box. He's gonna vlog it.
Were you the guy with the Zelda thing? That's right. Ah, I was just thinking. I looked through.
What's this? I want this in.
I looked through your. I can't remember what I was looking at actually. I put something through your Instagram, and then I found
Right.
your Instagram, and I just realised that was you. It was the alarms on his
Zelda.
phone.
It was the alarms to get up for Game of Thrones. And
Oh.
My actual alarm is.
Are you a Game of Thrones fan?
I like Game of Thrones, but I like
Right.
Zelda more.
Yeah, no, I
Right.
agree with that sentiment.
Oh.
Game of Thrones
And
is
I'm
like...
just sat here like.
Now when
what
people
the
say, oh, should I go and watch Game of Thrones? I say, no. Don't do it now.
So, because we're honest, real, authentic, or so I say online, we've just been changing the camera around and stuff. That's what happens with these things.
But I know what we were saying.
But we know what we're saying. We're talking about your TTC, which is a Trying to Conceive channel.
Yes.
That some people do. I've obviously never watched any, but I know you used to have one, and it was just more of a bigger question of how many channels you had. You've done lots of different channels, and basically showing off that I've researched quite well.
Stalked.
Yeah, stalked.
Right, so, I mean, it's funny because what we were talking about earlier on about, like, super focus. I have got super focus, but I also get really, really bored really, really easily.
Yes,
And this
try
is
other
the,
things.
yeah, this is the problem that I have. And this is, I think, what has kind of stunted my growth on YouTube. Because although it might seem like a lot, in 9 years, there hasn't been a lot of growth. It was steady, and then it was just like, I obviously reached a point and I was like, I'm bored of this now.
Right.
I don't want to do this. I want to do something different. And it kind of threw a spanner in the works because I was like stretching things over different channels
Yeah.
and I'll put some vlogs on this channel and then I'll do this on this channel. And then a couple of years ago, someone said everything should be on one channel. So I was trying to, and it
Yeah.
really was, it's been like a period of adjustment where I've kind of got to the point now where I'm like, no, this is what it is.
This is the plan.
It's not even, because I can, if it's a plan, then it's work. If I
Yeah,
think,
yeah.
once you start thinking what's working, what's not working, and you start worrying too much about, oh, this is the kind of video that'll do well, or this is the kind of video, then you lose something.
Yes, you do.
You lose an element of what's made you start doing it in the first place.
Yeah.
And so, for sure, that was like, there was a whole period where I was just making this channel, making this channel, making
Yeah.
this channel. And that was because I was getting bored.
And you think that's the reason for the stunted growth in that period?
Yes.
I
I mean,
suppose it's
I say
like you
that
say-
period, years.
Well,
Like, it's
yeah.
not like it was a short period.
I
but
suppose that's like when we were saying earlier, like about the most important thing for anybody listening that wants to do YouTube blogging or be creative online is that focus. Without that focus and hard work, you won't get anywhere. So like that kind of lends itself to that where as soon as your focus started getting a bit diverted here
Yes.
and there, all of a sudden that's when things stopped growing as they were and that sort of stuff. So I think it just does reinvigorate the fact that it is about hard work and focus. If you can focus on something and work hard, the chances are you will do all right.
It is, but like you said, like it's all very well saying, oh, it's really hard work, blah, 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 blah. But if you don't really enjoy it, just don't do it.
Yeah.
It's not the kind
Yeah.
of thing that is going to promise massive results. Like if you do, like if you go, like you were saying about training to do something specific. If you train to do something you go to university, you've got like a life plan.
Yes.
If I do X, Y, Z, I will be here in this many years. It doesn't work like that. No matter how much hard work you put in, you may not achieve what you want to achieve doing this. And so if you're doing it just for that, don't do it in the first place.
No.
And if you stop enjoying it, just stop doing it, because it will. If you're not enjoying it, then that's the whole thing.
Yeah, it is. I hate when I see, particularly bloggers. Bloggers tend to piss me off, even though like I am one. I don't feel like I'm one. I don't really know how to explain that any further.
Like you feel more of a YouTuber than a blogger, is that what you mean?
I do, but even when I'm blogging, I don't really feel like a typical blogger. Like I don't think there's the same way a lot of them do, and I write in a very different style, I think, to a lot of other people that write about the same things. I don't know.
To me, that's like it's a little bit like I hate being referred to as a mummy blogger.
Yeah.
But that's because in my mind there's a negative connotation to that. If in your mind you've got something negative that you're thinking bloggers are this, and you are thinking, but I'm not that. Whatever it is, you've got something where you're like, I don't want to be this.
Yes, that's exactly why, part of the reason actually, why I pressed delete on my dad blog. My dad blog was actually doing well. It was probably, that was earning more money than anything else that I actually did. So it was a massive financial hit.
Did you actually delete it?
I mean, I've backed it up and saved it, but the actual web domain and everything, delete. Because at that moment in my head, because this is one thing that I've always said as well, is at any given moment, all of this can go away. I'll still be all right. Like I've got it. Not that I've met people online who are now my actual friends. Like Jeff is my actual friend. I mean, I don't know if he feels the same way. Yeah, but he's now my friend. Yeah. But I only met him because of the internet. Without the internet, there is no way I'd have ever met Jeff, because we don't hang around in the same circles, don't do the same things. And there's a couple of people at Westlife. I went to Westlife with our friend Baxter, who came all the way from Snowdonia in Wales because Donetta wouldn't go with me. Yeah. So she came over.
Hilarious, and also I was also there.
Yeah, you are, which is mental. Bizarre. I wish I'd have known. And yeah, so I don't really know where I'm going with that now.
Let's circle back. I think we were saying,
we're talking about
like, why would you do this? And
I know, talk about deleting the dad blog. Yeah, basically we're saying, look, if all this goes away, I'm just not that bothered. Yeah. Like, I really enjoy this. I hope I do this podcast for 10 years and I can pay all my bills. Like, I'm not saying I want 1 million subscribers and I want £1 million. As long as I can do
worth
this.
Of money for doing the job.
Yeah. But like, as long as I can, if I could get up and do this every day and it paid all the bills and we could go on holiday and have some nice food, like, that is amazing. But like with the dad blog, if it all went away, if this podcast went away, I wouldn't be heartbroken. I wouldn't think, oh, my life's over. I'm just not that bothered. And I think where I was going with the point, back to the bloggers that piss me off, is they kind of act like it's all or nothing, whilst their actions actually are doing nothing. Like, I notice a lot of them are always like about needing to take a break. And you look on the blog and it's like, you haven't written a blog for 3 months. What are you taking a fucking break from? Like, I don't know. I just see. I think you're right in what you were saying about there are a lot of negatives that are linked to bloggers. Yeah. So when I look at that and I think, well, I'm not that. Yeah. A lot of them take it way too serious. They're more concerned about what time their pin should go on Pinterest than they are about actually just writing something.
Well, that's why they're so exhausted.
Yeah.
They are so burned out.
They treat it like a job, like you're saying, don't treat it like a job.
But from what you're saying, they're not treating it like a job. So you can burn out on, and this has happened to me so many times, you can burn out on just the overwhelming feeling of the things that you have to do without doing anything at all. I can sit at home stressing out all day about the list of things that I've got to do, not doing any of them, only making things worse, when really, if you just think about it and think, right, I'm just going to do one thing today, and it doesn't matter if I don't make that frigging thumbnail. I'll just film the video.
I've got a feeling I need to offer, like, I'll make your thumbnails for you. Just send me what it is and I'll do it for you.
It drives me insane. But if you just kind of break it down into the things that you actually want to do, like with blogging, I created a blog post every single day for years. And eventually, it is incredible. But after a while, I was totally burned out because I don't want to talk about lipstick all the time. And then I just totally lost my love for the thing that made it popular in the first place, and it really all fell apart from there. I was forcing myself. There's only so many times I can describe a single lipstick.
Yeah, I mean,
until you
to
hate
me,
lipstick.
it's like lipstick's fucking lipstick.
Exactly.
It comes in different colours.
And there were and I have done them over the years, but there were times when I was doing like 30 lipsticks in 30 days. So I was having to take all these different pictures and describe each day in a different way, a different lipstick, and that takes its toll. It really starts to make you hate the thing that you loved.
Yeah.
And there's a balance there where if you find it and you decide this part's important and this part isn't important, then you won't ever get that burnout, and you won't be like, oh, I've not really done anything in a long time, but I need a break.
Yeah. That's it. And I think where this all comes back to then is because we were saying about there's different types of burnout. Like some people are burning themselves out because they're just getting nothing done and feel like they should be doing stuff. And then there's like you're saying, sometimes you can like,
take it too far and be like too productive.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you never want to do
and
it.
then that's why then you maybe get that's kind of how you maybe then get thoughts about starting different channels and starting maybe to introduce this or do a bit of that. And I think that's where we went on that tangent.
Yes,
it's coming back to you having lots of different channels and trying different things, because we've done that as well. Like, I've done that massively. In fact, I definitely think that my dad blog never got anywhere near the level that I thought it could, purely because I focused way too much on trying to do everything.
Yeah.
Like, oh, podcasting's pretty cool, I'm going to do that. And that's exactly why this is the first thing I've ever done, this podcast, where I said I was going to do it, and that was probably 2.5 months ago. And I took my time until I could get it all right. Like the old me would have been, I'm just going to get my phone, plug my headphones in, click Anchor, press record, and do a podcast, which I definitely think people should do if they want to do it. Yeah, that's fantastic.
I was like at work, I'm going to do a podcast, and there was a podcast on Apple Music later on that day.
Yeah.
Like I have no patience.
That's it.
I couldn't have done this at all.
That's what I'm saying. I'm exactly like you. This is the first time though I thought, actually, I want to
do this well.
I've got a vision of how I want to do it. I don't want it to just be talking. I want there to be a video. I basically envisioned this, and then I waited until I could make that happen.
Yeah.
You know, whether that be like earning a bit of money to buy the kit and all that sort of stuff. And it's the first time I've actually focused on something and thinking, wow, I'm actually fucking loving this. This is incredible. And it's really good. Yeah. But so talking about the channel, other types of channels you had that
the TTC
one. TTC one. What did you only do a couple of videos on that then?
So the reason I had that was I was already making the beauty videos and stuff. I probably had the channel for about a year, and we were trying to conceive, which is what that means.
Yes.
And I was like watching these other videos about people, and I didn't even know it was a community that was doing this. And so I thought, I'm going to make these videos because it's quite a nice outlet if you are struggling to conceive, to know that other people are going through it, and to tell people that, you know, this is how it feels and blah blah blah. And at this point, you know, the audience is very small anyway, and so it feels like low stakes, because if you share something and you wish you hadn't shared it later, then it doesn't really matter because not very many people saw it. I was not sharing it with people that I knew. I didn't share my blog or my YouTube channel on my personal Facebook page for 4 years.
4 years.
And I only shared it when I won a Cosmopolitan Blog Award.
Yeah, look, I'm actually good at this.
Exactly.
Look, everybody look.
I needed an element of validation that was like exterior. I needed someone third party to say, she's actually pretty good at this. And, you know, it's not a joke.
Especially when we're thinking, so after 4 years, that's still then probably 5 years ago from now.
Yes.
So like blogging, YouTube, all the rest of it, just weren't really that popular for your everyday person, was it?
Oh no.
Like people doing it. Like
no.
I 3 years ago, February 2016, just over 3 years ago, I didn't know what a blog or vlog was. I didn't watch YouTube. I didn't know what any of it was at all. So like that, and that's only 3 years ago.
Well, there's plenty of people that still don't know, and that only means that when people say, oh, it's too late to do this, it's too late to do that, it isn't.
No, it's not.
It's not. When I started, it seemed tiny, but it was huge.
Yeah.
It's just not everybody knew about it. It was already people with like hundreds of thousands of subscribers. I had never heard of any of it. So it may feel like, and it definitely, there's more people doing it now, but there's always time to do it. But bringing it back to the TTC channel, which tried to get me pinned down on. Oh my God,
I don't even know why I was that bothered now.
So
I forgot.
Basically, we were trying to have a baby. It took a long time, and
you documented that.
I documented it, and it was actually quite interesting in the end, because the reason that we couldn't, and he will not mind me telling you this because I already made a video about it way back when. Is my husband had something called a varicocele.
Right.
I don't know if you saw this on the channel.
No. I didn't actually find the TTC
I don't know
channel.
if I don't even know if the videos are still available.
No.
So a varicocele, and this is a PSA.
Yeah, this is the educational bit.
A varicocele is a varicose vein in your testicle. And it is not painful.
It's not painful.
It wasn't. He didn't even know he had it.
As soon as people say testicle, it's like, oh,
he didn't even know he had it. And it was heating up the sperm and killing them.
Right.
And that is the only reason.
Never heard of that in my life.
Right?
So this has been educational.
And it wasn't super obvious or anything, and we've been trying for a while. And let's say I identified something was different.
Yeah, right.
And he went
Do you care to elaborate on
way
that?
possible. He went to the doctors. They checked him out, which is hilarious. And then he went to the hospital, and he had this. He's got like a platinum coil in his abdomen. It was an outpatient thing, in and out.
Right.
About a month later, and I was pregnant.
Wow.
It was like
so they basically
magic.
injected him with super sperm, and he's like, all of a sudden, boom, that's it.
It was insane. The funniest part of that story is when he was in the hospital, a woman came in and examined him.
And she fell pregnant.
No, but get this. We never saw her again, and no one ever mentioned her.
What?
A woman came into the room.
She like a woman Nick Fury.
Fondled him to check him out, and then just left, and we never heard about her again.
That
No
is
one ever came in and
amazing.
said like, oh, the woman who came in earlier. No one referenced her. We don't know who she was.
That is incredible. Oh, imagine if she'd have vlogged that. As if it were like a prank video. Look, I'm going to go in here and pretend I'm a nurse and
Got a white
fondle
coat
someone.
from Amazon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is
was
amazing.
really funny. But yeah, that was pretty much the end. I made videos when Milo was really small. That's when I started vlogging. But I don't put a lot, apart from like occasional videos and holiday videos.
Yeah.
I don't really put the kids in vlogs
No, I
anymore.
think that's why I wrote the note down about the TTC channel, because
obviously it was different. I used to do it.
because I'm thinking, because this is one thing that I know me and you laughed about, or I laughed about, unless you don't want people to know you laughed about. But do you remember you in the Northern Blog Awards?
Oh yes.
And you
yes,
got
yes,
put in the
yes.
parent vlogger category, and I'm like, pretty sure, Mikhila, like you're the opposite of parent vlogger. You do your beauty, fashion,
Or
all
I've never
lifestyle.
wanted an award more than I wanted that.
I know,
award.
and I mean, a bit of me was like, what the fuck? Because you were
Now
in
I'm
there.
competing with people that aren't even in my category.
Like at that point, I don't think I were really family vlogger. I weren't that bothered about the YouTube family vlogger stuff.
Yeah.
But I think the bit that pissed me off was because a brand new dad blogger that I'd not mentored, but had lots of direct messaging conversations helping out, ended up being in there for like being a parent blogger.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, out of all the dad bloggers in the north,
It had to be him.
I don't want to be big-headed, but I've got to be in with a shout. Like they're in purely because of numbers. There's just not
Yeah.
that many. And then so I saw like him in one. I won't name him. And then
He knows who he is. Someone can
you-
Google this.
You fucking know who you are, you bastard. Taking my advice and then killing it. And then I saw you in that one, and that's when I just started laughing. Like at first I was a little bit like, I'm a bit annoyed, even though I don't know why, because I've had a big thing about blogging awards and stuff, and I
Yeah.
think like most of
But
it
we all
utter
know
bollocks.
it's bollocks. We all know it's bollocks. It's to drive traffic to those things.
Yes.
But you still want it though.
Yeah.
And it's so ridiculous, but it
It
is
is.
that third-party validation. Because
Yeah,
we
it
haven't
is.
got a boss. We haven't got someone saying, you're doing a really good job.
Yeah, that's
There
a
are
good
just
point.
these little things, and that's why it's really difficult not to take stock in the numbers. When you get big subscribers, when you get lots of
It
views,
is difficult.
they are the only things that you've got where
Yeah.
someone's going, I like that, well done.
Yeah, that's right. And and as soon as I saw you in that category, I was like, this
this
is
is
just
just a
another
laugh.
one. Yeah, this is just another one that's a load
But
of shit.
that absolutely goes to show that they chose me because they thought she's going to send a lot of people, which I did because I really wanted to win it. Because I thought it would be a right lol. But that is why they chose me, because it made no sense.
This is a good time then to say that there's going to be a That David Podcast Awards. So if you could get everybody to subscribe to the That David Podcast, and we'll make sure that Mikhila wins.
Mm-hmm.
If you comment on this video, Mikhila sent me,
Yeah.
then
I'll
I'll
be the
give her an award.
Can
like,
it be glass and will it be engraved?
it won't be something that you're trying to stay away from. Yeah, I'll make something.
Oh my God, please make me something out of that, like mould it. Like I would like
the
you
Monster
to carve
can.
me a can of Monster out of wood.
Right, scrap that idea. Scrap that idea. Like, it was a shit idea anyway. Yeah, no, we'll not do that. Right, what have I got next to talk to you about? So yeah, I think we've covered pretty much that you can burn yourself out even with something that you love, and then your focus can get put here, there, and everywhere. We've said about you don't put your kids, or it's very rare that we see your kids in any videos.
I'm not like anti putting kids at will. No,
Yeah.
I kind of am. But the main reason for that was that when my daughter got a little bit older,
Yes.
I started shielding her from her a little bit. And now she's like 13, nearly 14. She does not want to be on YouTube. And it's
No.
not. Why should I?
Our 15-year-old categorically is a no. She's
Yeah.
like, do not put that camera anywhere
There
near
are
me.
people that she goes to school with that when I'm doing a live, they'll pop up.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not here to embarrass my children. And the idea that I could make their school life more difficult by putting funny things about them on the internet is absolutely horrifying.
Yeah. Oh, God, can you imagine? I mean, it is. We be very careful. Like, even with Corbin, who's 6, we don't actually, even though we're in the family vlogger bracket,
but it's fine.
We don't put him on that much anymore.
It's fine as long as you are prepared to take those videos down.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember talking to some people last year, none of them had kids, and I told them this is how I felt about it. And I said, but what if those kids grew up, like, what if you had a family vlog and it was just kids all the time? And I'm thinking SOCAN Jolies.
Yeah.
Right, so...
They get a lot of flack for it.
Well, I mean, they get a lot of flack anyway, but taking that out of it completely, their youngest kids are oldest kids are still very young.
Yeah.
But let's say in 5 years, this is still their main money earner.
Yeah.
And the kids say, we don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
What do they do? And the bloggers that I was with, that I posed that question to, said they wouldn't remove the videos and they wouldn't take down the channel.
What, they're saying they wouldn't personally, or they don't think the SOCAN Jolies
No, they were saying
would?
they wouldn't personally. And this was a good group of people of different ages. And I thought, do you know what? That's the thing. That's the difference. The people who respect the children's privacy. And I can't say, I'm sure the SOCAN Jolies would do it. In my mind, I'm just thinking you're jeopardising your entire careers by potentially putting it in the hands of your children, saying no. And I assume that if they turned around and said they don't want to do it anymore, that's the end of that channel. And they'd have to do something else, which is fine. But I think it's dangerous.
It is.
Then there's plenty of people who wouldn't do it, and they would just leave those things up for the kids to be humiliated by.
And then their relationship's definitely going to go south.
And then what about all the gifts that have been made of these kids, like pulling faces? They're just going to be used in perpetuity for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, I think this last 2-3 minutes talking, there's just so many question marks, so many things that could go wrong. It makes you think, is there any point?
Can you imagine when Corbin goes to school? Let's say there was like... And I've thought this a lot about Milo. I don't think anybody's done it, but I don't think there's anything really. It's different for boys, I think. Let's say then for Ella. Let's say I'd put some stuff up and someone made a GIF out of it. Yeah. And then they were sending it to her.
Yeah.
Like, there's just... I had such a hard time at school that I just think I would...
Yeah, school's hard enough,
oh my
full
God,
stop. I
would be so upset if I had caused any kind of more pain or anguish for my kids by putting them on the internet.
It is so difficult, and that we've made a decision, especially the last 6 months probably. I reckon you could go through all of our videos, which I recommend everyone should, the David and Donetta videos, and Corbin's just not in it that much. Now and again, for a couple of seconds, he'll say something funny, but something that I know, because I know him, because I'm his dad, like when he gets to 15, he'll be like, oh, that was quite funny when I said that at 6. Yeah. Like, I don't know, once I've told a story about him, waking up one morning and he's like bouncing up and down on our bed in between me and Donetta, and he's like, oh, I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said something along the lines of, oh God, I've pissed the bed. And like at that time he were about 3 or 4 or something. It's fucking hilarious. And like, I know when he gets a teenager, he'll be like, oh, quite. We didn't get it on camera. I just told the story, so he'll be like, "Oh, that's pretty funny that I said that in it," and like you laughed about me swearing.
Could also be a boy-girl divide though, because I would have said the same as Ella.
Yeah, good point.
I swear, they go
that
to
could
secondary
mortify
school,
a girl.
and it's
You're
like
right.
Different person.
Yeah, I want to know. Have you ever had any interesting meetings with subscribers or followers or whatever?
When you said interesting meetings, it reminded me of, like when people are like, oh, big secret, can't tell you about it, got something interesting, big meeting. No.
You when you finally say it's probably going to be shit. Oh, I'm getting the bag of crisps sent to me to review. Well done.
I'm bringing out a line of mugs.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God,
hey,
it's not that
mugs.
exciting. Like, just tell us about them to begin with. It's not like we don't need a countdown for mugs. Also, I'm bringing out a line of mugs. So, probably...
Do you meet many?
No. I have met almost every single one that I have met in Primark.
Yeah, because you're walking around going, and I like the elastication in these jeans.
I don't even need to be filming. Lots of people have accosted me in lifts.
Yeah.
That's weird. Can't get away.
What sort of thing? What's like the common thing? What do they all say? Just like, oh my, hey, hope you're all right.
No, first thing everybody always says almost, or unless...
Is hey up, Mikhila?
No, I mean, unless it's another blogger, in which case then they will say something like that. I once walked in, this is years and years and years ago, once walked into like an event, and I was saying to my friends, oh my God, I hate events, I feel so awkward. I said, oh God, we don't know anyone. And I was talking to her as we were walking in, and one of them said, but we know you. And
you're thinking that's worse.
Yes. This was 4 or 5 years ago. And you kind of carry with you this weird balance of feeling really paranoid and like you're being watched, and feeling like a complete arsehole for assuming that people know who you are.
Yeah.
And
I don't think...
most people don't know who you are. Like
No.
99.9% of people in this town don't know who I am,
Yeah.
let alone in the world.
Yes.
But you have this, someone looks at you from a distance and your first thought is,
Do they know
me from YouTube?
Yeah.
It could be that like I've got toilet paper on my shoe.
Yeah.
It could be something completely different, but your first thought is, oh my God. But I've had people say, I was sitting next to you at dinner, and then immediately like, what were we talking about?
Yeah.
That's the stuff that freaks me out. The people
Yeah.
that tell me later, that's
Yeah.
what makes you paranoid.
I've had the odd one because I go in Asda nearly every morning. I've had the odd DM on Instagram. Saw you in Asda this morning.
Yeah.
And I said to Donetta, God, can you imagine if ever I were like trying to scam the self-serve?
Right.
And like nick a few things. And I'm thinking I'm getting away with this. I don't do this. It's just for comedy purpose. But imagine I'm doing that and somebody from down road is like,
Right.
no, it's like you're saying, you don't never want to assume people are watching you because you're not just not
because
that big
then
a
you're
deal.
a complete dickhead. But then there is the thing of like, what if you're having a really personal conversation? What if you're in an argument with your other half?
Yes.
What if you're telling the kids off?
Yeah.
What if you're just like really pissed off that day? It's just, it is, it does
And
make you
that's
really
their
paranoid.
only
Yeah.
time they've actually seen you as well. And they're like, oh my God, she's not like she is on YouTube. She's a right bitch.
Almost every single time I've left an interaction with someone who says they follow me on some kind of social media or YouTube, I've left it thinking, I don't think I did that right.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what the right way to do it is because it feels... Someone will... They always start with, do you make YouTube videos or are you on YouTube?
Yeah, yeah.
Because you don't know. And so when I say yes, then it's kind of this, like, dead air.
Yeah.
You're like, where do we go from here?
Yeah.
So, because it is, and you don't know I don't know you to make conversation, and I can make conversation with anyone, but if you start the conversation, do you make YouTube videos, and I say yes,
Yeah.
I can't
Over
then,
to you.
anything I could possibly say from there is all assumptive. It's
Yeah.
all like, do you watch them? Like, what can I say
Yeah.
that doesn't make me seem like
The
a complete
ball's in their
arsehole?
court then to like, over to you.
If someone
what do
came
you
up
want
and
to
said,
say?
oh, hi, I really like your videos,
Yeah.
that's a totally different thing.
I had that in the French gate the other day, and I felt amazing for the rest of the day. And it was like a full-grown man who were probably around our age.
Really?
Yeah. And he came over. I was just walking through the French gate. He went, David, and I'm like, oh, hey, hope you're all right, because obviously then I'm in that moment of
And then
they
you're like,
clearly
how
know
do I
me,
know you?
but I have no idea who you are.
Yeah.
He's like, I love all your videos on YouTube, you and Donetta, and I'm like, oh, thank you, I really appreciate it. That's lovely of you to say. And then he's like, and then it were kind of like, oh, that's cool. And now we're walking in the same direction, but he's a few paces ahead. And then he like turned around again and went, I always give you a thumbs up and press like and stuff. And I'm like, that's
so
and he were
cute.
being genuinely really nice. And I'm massive, like, that's when I think that
the
to me is like a
perfect
blogging
interaction.
award.
Yes.
That's when I'm like, oh my
Yes.
God, I've done something.
That
And
is the
someone
perfect
else who don't
interaction.
even know me likes me. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Please, can I have more of that?
Yeah, just say hi.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the worst part of it, especially in what I do, because it's probably more prevalent in what you do. Selfies. So if you do not
want someone to ask
for a selfie,
Yeah.
I am not going to offer one.
No, because that makes you look a
Oh
complete
my
dick.
God, yeah. But then I always leave it thinking, if I was that person,
Yeah.
I would have wanted a selfie.
Yes. A selfie is basically now what an autograph was
Yeah.
in 1990.
I mean, I don't think anyone would have been asking for autographs. of
No,
YouTubers,
I mean,
but sure.
I am going to be asking for yours. I don't know if we've got a pen, but I definitely want you to sign the book.
I've got a Sharpie in my bag. I am fairly certain.
So
I have.
you're assuming I wanted you
hilarious.
to say... I mean, I
don't
did
know
DM
why
you
I've
saying,
got a
will you sign
Sharpie
my
in my
book?
I think I have. But not intentionally. I just saw it this morning.
So have you actually had any like funny moments then, or embarrassing, or does it all just tend to be kind of similar and
Mostly
awkward-ish?
awkward, but it's only awkward because I don't know how to handle the situation. I don't know like what to do in that situation. I don't know.
Yeah.
I find it really awkward to. All of it comes down to the fact that you have to assume that person really likes you,
Yeah.
and I can't do that.
Awkward all
Nothing
the
like
time.
mega embarrassing or anything
Yeah,
that's ever
like-
happened. It's only awkward because of how awkward I make it. It's only awkward because I feel like a complete arsehole if I assume that
Yeah.
someone is really, really interested in meeting me.
Yeah.
And maybe they've just...
And you're good, do you want a selfie with me?
Exactly.
It's like, oh,
You
what?
can't
No,
do
you
that.
wanker.
No, that's
Yeah,
awful. But you just like... You could literally just recognise you.
Yeah.
And they don't actually care that much about you. They've just
Yeah.
gone, oh, I know you from this thing. And
Yeah,
that does
yeah.
not tell me anything.
No, it don't.
And you go, thank you. Like, I
Yeah,
don't know.
It is awkward because I met some guy through working with Doncaster and stuff like that, and I met this guy and he said to the person who was introducing me to him, oh yeah, we met somewhere at that thing, didn't we? And I'm thinking, I know I've never met you ever,
Yeah.
but because you've consumed a lot of our videos, and especially because a lot of our videos are me and Donetta,
Yeah.
like it's real life stuff,
Yeah.
a lot of it.
They feel like
they
they've seen
feel
you.
like they know or have met me, and I'm thinking, well, I know I haven't met you, and he's like, oh, you have.
That is the problem. People that know so much about you and you don't know anything about them, where do you go from there?
Yeah.
It's such a strange...
But they don't necessarily think about that when they meet you.
No.
They're just like, oh, I know you, and like you say, you're thinking, well, I don't know you.
I've just had a memory of someone. I was that person. I ran up to someone. I was so excited. This was 2012, so I've been doing it 2 years, and there was someone called Fleur de Force who was like a beauty vlogger.
Yeah.
And I ran up to her, and I was so excited. And I ran up to her, and I went, I know you, but you don't know me. and I swear to God, she just like blanked me. And I've had 3 interactions with this one person, all exactly the same.
That is crazy.
It was like, I was
so
like...
does she never speak to you? Surely she's got
she
to take
doesn't know
you
who I am.
serious
No,
now.
not at all. She definitely doesn't know who I am. I was once sat next to her. This is like shade. This is as close to drama as I've ever got.
Get in. Let's do a diss track.
I was once sat next to her at something, and someone thought I was her. They obviously didn't know, but she was like big time. Like compared to me, it's like...
Is she from UK?
Me versus Beyonce. Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, someone was talking to me, and I went, oh no, I don't think you mean me. I was like, and I said, oh, she, explained the situation, and it was like I was the lowest of the low person. Genuinely, actually, one of the only people I've ever met that I've gone,
All right.
I don't think
this
we
is,
would.
I now have the title for the video.
The only bit of shade that I've ever.
This is fantastic.
In fact, do you know what? I actually think I said something once about her, and I had to go in via YouTube and delete it.
Wow.
Because so many people went to her video and said, so-and-so saying this about you.
She knows who you are.
She doesn't, 100% she doesn't. But
Are
I'll
you
tell you,
sure?
I'll repeat what I said now because I stand by it. We went to...
You're a bitch.
I know. And I wasn't being a bitch. I was actually really peeved because... I can't believe I'm even... Anyway.
You don't
I
have
was
to
really,
say
no,
it.
No. I was really... It's not mean or anything. It's just... It was true.
Yeah.
I was really peeved at the time because we went to a premiere and she was there and we watched the whole thing, left. It was dark. Really enjoyed it. Talked it up. It was amazing. I took like 4 different people back to the cinema separately to go and watch this. It was Magic Mike XXL. It was great. I went to my husband to see that. It's great. Right. Just take everything out of it that you think it's going to be.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was... I would never ever in a million
I'm very
years-
open-minded.
I would never have gone to see a Magic Mike. And the first one's terrible by comparison. The second one's all entertainment. It's very enjoyable.
Yeah.
Really funny.
I have heard lots of good stuff about it.
It's more dancing. It's definitely got like...
I love Step Up.
He's
All
in
the
Step Up.
yeah.
I've
that's
never
why.
seen
That's
Step
the only
Up.
reason why I know him.
Okay, you
Step
probably
Up.
would enjoy it. I didn't know Channing Tatum could dance.
Yeah, he is legit, isn't he?
I didn't know.
He almost dances like I used to in Shea Bar.
I didn't know he could dance. 100% did not know until we saw Magic Mike XXL. And I'm there with my friend Emma, and it starts, and he's dancing, and I go to her. He's really good.
Yeah, he's really good.
But anyway,
oh, and he's got his knob out.
No, it's not.
I know.
I mean, some of it's like pretty sexy.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
no, it's really, really funny. In
Yeah.
fact, after this, I'm going to find you a clip just to show you.
Okay.
It's hilarious. So yeah, I went to see. I really, really enjoyed it. Anyway, I watched the vlog later on where she'd been to see it, and she left halfway through.
All right.
It was still light outside, and in the vlog, she was like, "It was such a great movie." Da, 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 da.
But she left halfway through.
Right. So that is the one and only time I ever said it, because I was like, and I don't know, I can't remember what I said. It will have been veiled. I won't have said anything directly, but I definitely threw some shade. One and only time. And I had to go back. Within a day, I deleted it out of the vlog because I thought, I don't want to be that person.
And
now I've been that person. But, she doesn't care. But it really switched me off because I was an avid viewer and I hate that. In that moment, I thought, I didn't care that she didn't like me. I didn't care that she was like, whenever I'd seen her, she would blank me and whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't care about that because I thought, I watch you for this and you don't know who I am and it must be weird. You meet people all the time that know who you are. I could discount all of that.
Yes.
But in that moment, I thought, I don't like that.
Yeah.
You've
Sometimes
lost
there
me.
is just one thing, and it might not be the thing that anybody else realizes.
Yeah, someone else
most people
won't care at all about that.
Can't
Yeah.
give a shit.
And in that moment, I thought, I don't believe a word you're saying anymore.
Yeah.
You've lost me.
And that as well is like, it's like online trust in it. And
Yeah.
once that's gone, you can't get that back.
No.
Especially not with somebody who you don't actually know anyway.
No.
It's more like you only know the YouTube them.
Yes. Which I
But-
completely appreciate, that someone
Yeah.
can be a character on YouTube, which is why
Yeah.
everything else I was like, oh, well, okay.
Yeah,
fair
but
enough.
it's one of them.
We'll
if you-
never be friends.
Yeah, if you're gonna be a character, be a character.
Yeah.
Don't pretend you're real and then be a character.
But more than that, even if you're playing a part and then in real life you're not the same person, be honest.
Yeah.
It just switched me off. It did.
Definitely.
But that is literally the only everyone else that I've ever met, I've pretty much always had a really positive experience with. Even like really big time people, they've always been like just really friendly.
See, I just don't meet anyone.
Well, this is
You're
way back.
you're the biggest big time person I've actually met. You
Well-
seem all right.
I think a lot of it comes down to upbringing,
Oh yeah.
like where you're from.
Oh, here then, here's a question for you. North-South divide in England, does it exist? Do you experience it? There definitely is a North-South divide.
Right, but do you think when people say north-south, they actually mean like Manchester and London? Because when you say south, you don't think Cornwall.
No, yeah, you're right. Yeah,
You
actually,
mean
yeah.
us and London.
Yeah.
And when people say England, they mean London.
Yeah. Anyone, people...
When people say Britain, they mean London.
Yeah, they
UK,
do.
London.
They do, definitely.
North-south divide is, I don't think it's a major thing, but London versus the rest of the country, I think is a thing.
Yes, I agree with that then. Let's change that then.
Because I think you could live...
Bloggers and YouTubers...
Land's End versus London is just as crazy different
Yeah,
as
it will
us
be.
versus London.
You're right. So bloggers and vloggers who live in and around London...
Yes.
And then people up here
Yes.
that live in Yorkshire and Northwest and Northeast. I don't know many people from Northeast, but the typical big places up north, there's definitely massive differences, I think. I see similarities between all the northern people and lots of similarities between all the southern people, London people,
Yeah.
I'm saying. Have you got any experiences, or have you ever come across someone and thought, that's probably because you're from London and I'm from the north?
Well, I think that I know I just said upbringing, which definitely plays a part, but I think that you can be kind of naturalised to certain areas, and that can like impact who you are with people.
Yeah.
I mean, even outside of London, this has happened to me, but I know that there are people that I have been, I'm not friends with, but that I've known through this,
Yeah.
who have been in London for a long time. And it's like
changed?
a different, well, I didn't know them before, but they are not people that I would choose to spend time with, because they are career bloggers, which I
Yeah.
understand is a thing.
Yes.
But there is a massive difference between the people who meet people and they're like, oh, actually, we really get along. Let's spend time together.
Yeah.
And, oh, you could help me in some way. Let's network.
Yeah.
Let's be friends.
Yeah.
Let's like be internet friends.
Would you suggest? I don't want to put words in your mouth. This is probably something I think more than what you might. Would you think you get more of the bloggers that are, how can you help me? Or like they're very specific who have the friends. Do they tend to be London people? And people up north will tend to be like, oh, I actually really like you. You're all right. Do you want a cup of tea?
I would say that people that I've actually maintained friendships with, that I would still be friends with outside of any of this, or don't live in London and have never lived in London.
Yeah. Where does
Emma.
M channel?
She's from Coventry.
Right.
But she
Is
lives
that
in
near
Dorset,
Midlands?
Birmingham-y kind of,
Yeah.
but she lives in Dorset.
See, I'm all right at geography, even though I didn't like it
You
at
see,
school.
it's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
used to think we were like as north as it got.
Yeah,
We're practically
There
the
is
Midlands.
nothing.
If you
There's
look at the whole
nothing after
country,
it, yeah.
I legit thought we were really north. We're thinking of driving up to Edinburgh in the summertime. It's like 4.5 hours.
I know.
But then Emma, who lives in Dorset, she was, because we always do something at Christmas time. Because again, we know each other, and it's crazy how we met.
What's her channel? Plug it.
It's M channel.
Because I've come across her through you. I think she's
You would
hilarious.
so much more enjoy her content than mine, because she is more vloggy.
Right.
You would be definitely more inclined to watch,
Yeah.
because obviously my stuff is like kind of more, I want to say female centric. It's obviously not, but it's not for you.
I mean, when we talk about the book in a minute, I got a lot from the book. Even though I honestly did.
Shut up.
Honestly, and I can explain myself.
Okay.
But you
we'll
finish.
go on with Emma.
Yeah. You finish
At
with
some
this.
point, Emma will come and see me, and I'll be like, let's do a podcast with
Yes,
Emma.
yes.
Yeah, I can't even remember what I was going to say. Oh yeah, so we always do something at Christmas. We met through Twitter. I wanted to do, and this just like speaks to my always doing something else and getting bored. About 7 years ago, I would say 6-7 years ago, I had an idea for like loose women, but on YouTube.
Oh.
Which, can you imagine, 7 years ago, that was like...
You were so forward thinking back then.
Now,
I got that
there's
from a lot of
loads
your
of people
videos.
doing... But I just didn't have... Like, if I'd lived in London,
Yes.
I feel like everything would have been different. I'd have had people at my disposal to do this stuff with.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'd said on Twitter, I was like, I really like this idea. I had mugs made and everything. It was called Kyla Talk. I had a little jingle. I really liked it. Anyway, I did a few different videos of this, and I would have like people around, and we'd sit on a sofa and talk about different topics. And I really, really liked
Do this again
that.
now.
Well, I thought it was great, but unfortunately, I don't know that many people in
Who do you want?
the area. Exactly.
I'll be your person that goes and gets you those people.
Well, that's what a podcast is now. A podcast is effectively serves the purpose of the thing I was trying to do.
Yeah,
then.
it does. Yeah.
So I'd put it out. I want to do this thing, and then someone had said to her, "Oh, this girl's doing this thing." She'd never watched my videos. I don't think. I'd never watched hers.
Yeah.
This is how we met, and it was like the most neutral way of meeting someone else because there was no like, oh, I'm a fan of this person. Like, I've met other people who have been fans of me before we met.
Yeah,
There's always that edge. Like, I make jokes about that. Like, we're only 70-30 friends. We're like 70% YouTube friends, 30% real friends. And then every year she was like, oh, I made it to 40 yet?
Yeah,
we would make jokes about it. Like,
right.
how much closer? It's been 6 years.
Yeah.
Are we 80 yet?
The funny thing is that makes sense.
Oh, completely. There's a lot of friendships that I think if YouTube went away would die. No matter how much. But at the same time, we've all been there. How many mates did you have at UKI that you used to go out around town with that you have never seen again since you left there?
All of them.
It doesn't make it a terrible thing. It's called circumstantial friendships.
Yes.
And there are people I love at work that guaranteed if we didn't work together anymore, we'd have nothing in common. We'd have no reason to see each other. Doesn't mean we're not friends.
No.
But it's just a different kind of friendship.
Yeah.
It's not a terrible thing. Everyone wants to make it out like, oh, you know, these people are social climbers or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not always. It's just like they're your colleagues.
Although most London bloggers are social. Well, that's a generalisation. I best take that back.
There's plenty of people.
There's lots of them, though.
Yeah. And having been in both situations, I can tell you, I like to be, and this is going to make me sound like a dick, but I like to be the person with bigger numbers because I know, here's why, I never want someone to think that about me. I never want someone to think that I am using them. Yeah. I know if I'm in that situation, they know my friendship is genuine.
Yes, I worry about this when I speak to people. This is a prime example. Why do you want Mikhila on the podcast?
Right, but you didn't ask me.
Nothing to do with... Well, that's
it's
great.
Different situation.
Do you know, I couldn't actually remember whether I'd asked.
I offered.
Because I had a list immediately when I knew I was going to do it of people that I wanted without knowing if they were interested at all. You were definitely on that list. But you were on that list because... we're so similar. Like, even when I was watching all your videos, doing your research, reading your book, I'm thinking, she thinks just like I do about a lot of things. And even things throughout this podcast, she's saying things and I'm like, I think like that. But not everybody does. And it's almost like I think, I really understand what you mean, but I bet you most people don't quite get what you mean all the time about certain little things. But yeah, so this is like one of those instances where it's like, and I wanted to make clear whenever I meet anybody who's got bigger social numbers, I couldn't give a shit what your numbers are. Like,
but then that in itself is a bit of an arsehole thing to think. Like, it's such a difficult line between saying, look, I don't care about that, and that coming across as like, I don't care about you, I don't respect what you've achieved. It's so difficult, and I don't seek out friends that have got lower numbers than me. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that I like to be in that situation when I find myself in it. Yeah. Because, and to be fair, I don't think I've really ever found myself in the other situation because I don't tend to get along with people who have got massive numbers. Yeah, right. But I like to find myself in that situation because I know that other person isn't doubting whether or not I actually want to be friends with them. Yes,
that is good. It is such... It's these numbers on social media. Yeah. They fuck with your head more than you actually realise, don't they? Like I'm friends with Harriet, Toby and Rue. I'm even more friends with her husband, Adam. Yeah. And he's somebody that we've actually seen each other outside of Instagram and stuff. But Harriet is like huge on Instagram. When they were coming back from Amsterdam, I think it was. I don't know if it was this year, back end of last year. It might have been back end of last year. They stopped through our village and we went to have a drink with them, stuff, say hey up and what have you. Yeah. the one thing that I want to get across, and I even messaged Adam about it, to basically say, please don't ever think that I'm trying to be friends with you because I want Harriet to shout me out. Because I'm like, but I like to think that once you've spent time, like after this today, you will know me much better than you did a couple of hours ago. I like to think that as long as you communicate and you're always authentic and real, I know that word's thrown around, people will know that that's not what you're out for. Because I was really worried about that.
You can just... The way that people are with you, the number one thing is people that just agree with everything that you're saying.
Yeah.
People that laugh at everything you say, people that are like, yeah, exactly. No, it's a massive, and I like to have discussions about things. Like I would more than happily sit and talk to someone who I disagree with absolutely everything they say. I want to know why they think that. Yeah. Because if I don't understand, then I can't understand you. Like I don't think people are just out. I mean, some people do just have opinions for the sake of opinions. They don't really back it up with anything. But if you feel really, really strongly about something that I feel the opposition as strongly about something, why? I need you to tell me why. I can accept that you think that. Yeah. But if you feel this strongly about it, maybe I don't know something. Yeah. Maybe there's something that I need to take into consideration. And the worst, I like that in a friend that can actually say, no, I don't agree with that. I've seen this, and I'll change my opinion about things quite frequently because you have to be open to. Well, that's right, it.
You only know what you know. Yes. Like you're saying, if the other person goes, actually, I looked at it from this way, and you're like, oh shit, I didn't think about that.
Exactly.
Now you've said that, I think this and stuff. That's what a big part of this podcast is. I love talking, that everybody knows. But I also like having those conversations. After every podcast, I want to come away being a little bit smarter than I was before, or knowing a little bit of, or looking at something a different way. I love listening
to a podcast for that reason.
Yeah, we should definitely talk about the book.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Do we need to do it with camera?
No, I was just checking. I was being surreptitious. I was like...
I'm just like, do we need to take camera off or what? The book. Now, because I always have to be honest, I said on Twitter, I think it was, I did say that I'd read it, but without being big-headed, I do genuinely believe the amount that I did read, I am quite educated on this book. Okay, sure. Like, I'm pretty sure you could test me, even though I don't believe in tests. You could test me on different sections, and I would have, I know enough to have a conversation about it. And honestly, this book is obviously, it's called Lifestyling, for those that don't know, link in description. I bought it from Amazon. Is it just Amazon you can buy it?
You can buy it from a bunch of different places, but Amazon is the easiest.
Yeah, main place. I bought it and read it, and I actually did take stuff away from it, because this is what I'm like. I should explain what I'm like, and then it'll make it more sense. I'm so open-minded, and I'm so eager to learn. I don't really like... You know when somebody looks at somebody who's a successful YouTuber and they want to be a YouTuber, and they go, why are they successful? Fucking dickheads, and they hate them. I look at somebody and go, right, I don't particularly like that person, but what are they doing where I can take something from that and mould it into what I think and what I'm doing? So what I did with your book, knowing that I'm not the demographic, it's obviously for women, I got the book and I thought, right, but just because it's directed at women doesn't mean there won't be something I can't take from it. So I basically read it with the idea of there'll be something in here that I can spin into what suits my life and me. And I'll be honest, I was shocked how much I actually took from
really,
it.
Now you're saying it. It totally would make, aside from like body shape and the thing where I'm talking specifically about items to wear for female body shapes. Yeah. Most of the rest of it, like even colours, even talking about what colours you should wear and like.
I mean, I'll only ever wear black.
So. But let's say like you're wearing red. There will be something where you'll put something on and you're like, oh my God, like you could have that exact same hoodie in like 4 different colourways and one of them would be the one. Yeah. You're like, this is the one. Yeah. This works. Even if you're wearing all black, there'll be a pop of something. Yes. Where you're like, oh, that's it. That's it. This is the one that makes me look.
And what this book is a little bit about then for the women is to figure out how to make those decisions, innit?
Yeah, so the biggest thing... Cause
how to know like what pops, or maybe know what pops before you actually buy all 5.
Yes, exactly. So it is about style and it is about like clothes and fashion and all that stuff. But the biggest thing, the questions that I get all the time is like, is it just about... Number 1, it says it's for mums. It's not just for mums. No. And number 2, it's not just about style. The whole thing for me is styling your life that you've got right now. So let's say your life right now is podcasting and homeschooling and all that stuff. If you went and got an office job, your life would be entirely different.
Yeah.
Well, yes, probably.
I'd hate it.
But it would
yeah,
be
go on.
completely different.
Yeah.
And so everything you've got right now, everything that you own may need to change.
Yeah. Well, for a
All
start,
of
my actual clothing would.
Yes,
Unless
absolutely.
rock up
But
to office
taking
like that.
outside like clothing, just your general day-to-day would
Yeah,
change.
every day, like a bit of life.
Everything. And so because that can change constantly, and I use the thing of mums because that's a major life change. Like you can go from school to then maybe an office or a work environment to then you potentially are having a baby, and then when you come back, everything is changing all the time, and it's not just as simple as this is my style, these are my things, this is how it works for me. Things change constantly, and it is styling the life that you've got right now.
Yeah. What is it you're saying? Evolving, evolutionally.
Completely. It's all an evolution.
Yeah,
so
that's it.
I could find stuff that works for me right now, even colours. Like this outfit I really like. It works for the day that I'm going to have today. It works for the hair colour that I've got right now. It works like my makeup. It works for the age that I am right now. In 10, 15 years, things change.
Yeah,
you know, like my body might change. My skin can change. Like your hair colour, if I start to go grey, you start to lose pigment in your skin. Even on a basic level, you actually can change massively.
Yeah, yeah.
And then take that out of the way completely, the fact that I'm going to have 2 grown-up children. I might have a different kind of job. Anything can be different. And it's not just like a one-time deal. And then you've got trends and what's in fashion and all that stuff as well.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I do talk a lot in the book about like relationships and how to understand each other and how to like...
Do you know the bit that we really enjoyed?
Was it the love language?
Yes, the love language bit of the book. I'm reading it in one room, Donetta's in the other room. As soon as I read that bit, I ran in with a book in my hand and I'm like, Donetta, have you ever read a love language before? And she's like, I think I've vaguely heard about it or whatever. I'm like, let's find out what our love language is. And I honestly
Did you do the online quiz?
No, I didn't.
You should do the online quiz.
I will do. Oh, yeah, you said that there is an online quiz in there. I said to her, straight away I knew what mine were.
Yeah.
Because I actually said in my head, as soon as I started reading, that because you do obviously talk a little about love language, and then you give the 5 different languages. There is 5, isn't there?
Yeah, I think so.
I told you I read it.
I think so.
And,
Can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, sure.
And I straight away started thinking to myself, how do I like feel loved kind of thing? If you don't know what love language is, Google it.
It's amazing.
And
it's not an original concept.
No, and I thought like on an evening when I down tools and I go in the living room and I just want to sit and watch Netflix with Donetta for a couple of hours, I'm like, that's me.
Quality time.
That quality time. And I think
Physical
your
touch.
husband,
Physical
Lee,
touch and quality time.
it's Lee, isn't it?
Yeah, it is Lee.
He is the same as me then. He's the quality time. He needs...
Quality time and physical touch, which
Yes.
go hand in hand because obviously you're like close.
Yeah. Sitting
the
there together
closeness.
watching Netflix
Yeah.
can be the way that you feel loved in your relationship.
Yes.
And then there's other ones like the one bit though, the gifts and what is it called? Gifts and something.
Acts of service is mine.
Acts of service.
Which is not a million miles away
which
from
is
gifts.
basically Lee saying I'll do the pots without being asked to do
Right.
the pots.
Or like him going and put petrol in my car. Like that's
Yeah.
the nicest thing someone could do for me.
Yeah.
Like that. If someone and you say gifts sounds insane, because I kind of agree. I would never say that I feel loved by someone giving me a present because I hate receiving presents. It's so awkward. However, I think that I show love by giving presents.
Right.
I think that like I'll put a lot of time and thought into presents, and I put a lot of weight into that. So I think it's one of the ways, which is terrible because that's not how he feels love.
Yeah.
But
see,
it's
this is
how
what it's all about
yeah.
for you listening.
So
it's
I can
about
think,
like connecting the two of you together.
I can think I'm showing love because I'm showing love in the way I like to show love.
Yeah.
But if he's not feeling it in the way he needs to feel it, then it's pointless. So let's say and now you've said it actually, it's kind of making me think that right now I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. It's a good reminder. Like if we're sitting opposite each other on the sofa and we're watching TV and he's on his own and I'm on my own.
Then it's going to be like, where are you?
Right. We're like, sit, sure.
Yeah.
And we're like watching TV and I'm on my iPad and he's on his iPad. That's not quality time and it's not physical touch.
No.
If I go and sit next to him, there's a definite shift in like what's the word? You know, like when there's like a vibe.
Yeah.
There's a word
Like the
I'm
ambience, the atmosphere.
Horrible atmosphere is the word.
Yeah.
Horrible with words today. Atmosphere. There's a definite shift in the atmosphere. If I go and sit next to him, that immediately is more quality time and it is physical touch.
Yeah.
And that small change of where I'm
You're
sitting
doing
on
exactly the
sofa,
same things, you've just moved up.
Exactly. And like if talking about the gifts, if he came home with flowers, that would be so out there. that in itself would almost be an act of service because it was like thinking of me.
Yeah.
So that the gift thing makes sense because you're thinking that person at some point today was thinking about me and they thought of doing something nice for me.
Yeah.
But it can kind of be misconstrued as like, I need presents all the time.
Yeah, like if
It's
you
not
bring me
really.
necklaces home or you're horrible
Let's say
husband.
Donetta, I don't know, she brought you home like, I don't know, like a laptop sticker or something. That in its, but you might think, oh, she saw that and she thought of me.
Yeah.
And that, it's not presents, it's just like a thought.
Yeah, that's right. I love Donetta the most when I know she's looking at me like, you talk utter bollocks all day, every day, but I'm willing to put up with it. Like, that's when I think, oh, she's all right,
It'll be fine.
Yeah, that's it. So I took that love language bit was definitely something where I thought, this is definitely something that I can... And it's weird because then obviously me and Donetta spark up a conversation. We're talking about it. And then even then now, we'll probably laugh when one of us does something that relates back to what the book says.
Also, it gives you a real... I feel very strongly about this. It gives you a real sense of like, why you're doing things. And it can have a major impact on a relationship.
Yeah.
And it's not just with your partner, like with your kids as well.
Yeah.
How do your kids feel love?
Yeah.
How are you showing? And
You
are you
said the
showing
bit-
it how they need it?
Yes, because you said the bit about was in the book about about putting your kid off if they want to play.
Yes.
But if you just give them that 10 minutes,
Yes.
10 minutes later,
Right.
they don't want you anyway. They've had the 10 minutes. From
I
you.
100% stole that from Shonda Rhimes. She wrote a book called The Year of Yes, and it's fantastic. You should
Yeah.
definitely listen to this as well. She's the
Yeah.
one who writes Grey's Anatomy.
All right.
Like big time, very
I
famous.
used to watch
and,
that.
Well,
Pretty good.
she's great to listen to when you're talking about productivity and like getting stuff done.
Yeah.
And she used to say she never had time for anything, and then one day her sister was like, "You never say yes to anything." And for a
Yeah.
year she said yes to everything, and everything changed.
That's mega.
So she talked, and it made me cry when I listened to it. She talked about her littlest child saying, "Do you want to play?" And she would always say, "Oh, later."
Yeah,
And then
which
she
most
started
parents
saying
do.
yes. And oh my God, like I could get chills thinking about it. It's just that initial, like Mila will say, "I'm watching this thing on his iPad." And he'll
Yeah.
say, "Do you want to watch it with me?" And I'm like, "No, I fucking don't.
Yeah.
It's terrible. I don't want to watch another thing about dinosaurs in my
Yeah.
entire life."
Yeah.
But all I need to give him is 5 minutes of watching it.
Yeah.
And he will feel like he's been listened
Yeah.
to. We've had that little bit of quality time. It's not even like he wants that much time.
No, it's not.
It's just that you're buying into the thing that he's selling.
Yeah.
He's
that's
like,
it.
will you do this with me?
Yeah, he just wants your attention
Yeah.
for 5 minutes.
And it's not even attention for him specifically, but he's sharing something with you that he wants you to show an interest in.
Yeah.
And it does bear kind of just reminding yourself every now and then that the kids, it's just as important, those relationships, that you just give them a little bit of what they need to remind them that they are loved.
I think that smallest thing, like just giving them that 5-10 minutes when they want it, can have like the biggest impact in years to come. Because you imagine being a parent and Monday to Friday you're batting them away. No,
Yeah.
in 10 minutes, no, in a bit, I ain't got time, blah, blah, blah. Oh, if you keep doing that, at some point they will stop wanting you. And then who knows, they get to 15, 16 and they think, I can't, all of a sudden, even if it's subconscious, they no longer, you're not their go-to person.
No.
And the thought of not being my son's go-to person
Yeah.
scares the shit out of me. I want to be his person all the time about everything. I understand I won't be, but I want him to know I'm available whenever you want.
Even when he's a teenager, though, if he's grown up knowing that, he's always got it in the back of his mind that if it comes up, if it's important, I'll be able to. And it's a really tough thing. Like, I'm going through things now with my daughter that, you know, the average 33-year-old doesn't have to deal with. You'll know, because you've got teenagers
We're similar
that
there
you've
as
inherited
well.
yourself. It's a tough thing to think, I didn't expect to be here.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to be parenting a teenager and going through these like very difficult parenting things at 33 years old. And 33 sounds ancient to some people, but the average 33-year-old doesn't have a teenager.
No, I think I put something out the other day because one of them just turned 14 and the other turned 15 a couple of months ago, and I was like, how am I in charge of a 14-year-old when I've only just been 14 myself? That's how I feel. I'm like, me being 14 were only 10 minutes ago.
There's people our age like thinking about starting families.
Yeah. And we've already got some. Because as well, I've been in their life since they're like 5 and 6.
Yeah.
And now they're 14 and 15. That's like, they'll not probably remember too much before me. It's almost like I got in there that early.
Yeah.
They just know it's almost like I've always been around. So I definitely couldn't see how somebody could come into their life now at their age. I feel sorry for any step parent that has to go into a family that has teenage kids. Because they just didn't know where you'd win them over at all.
No.
I do think,
It'd be a special
I'm
kind
lucky.
of kid.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking like I am so lucky that I got them when they were little. And they'll remember me play fighting with them, rolling around,
They won't
messing
remember.
around.
Ella's got completely invented memories
Yeah,
of the time between me and her dad being together and the time like of me and Lee being together. She's made up an entire life that we had together on our own that we didn't have.
That we didn't have.
She remembers things that never happened.
Yeah.
Remembers like houses and do you remember when we did this?
No, because it didn't happen.
That did not happen.
If it's not on the vlog,
Yeah,
it didn't
it never
happen.
happened.
Your letter to Ella, who you say she's 14.
She could be 14, she's 13 now.
Right. So a letter to her. I like how you obviously also referred in the letter to like, you can actually read this now. It's not like you're writing a letter to a 3-year-old who's not going to read it anyway. Like the fact she can read it. But I really liked that letter. And I liked as well that you obviously mentioned in there that was, again, personal for me, was her relationship with Lee, who's now obviously her stepdad. So it's like, that was like, it were almost like you were Donetta, I suppose, in that way, right into one of our
it was very relatable for you.
It was. And that seemed a massive theme throughout my entire research these last few days about obviously all your stuff, is like how relatable it all is to me. I'm like, oh, she thinks like that, so do I. She does this, I do this. Even down to as well, specifically about the book in its entirety, the way you write is exactly the way I try to write. Like I try to write
as you would speak,
how I would talk to somebody, as if I'm talking to somebody. And that's why I always don't like, with bloggers and stuff, like people that talk about grammar and all that sort of stuff. I'm like, yeah, cool. I kind of do get grammar. I did well in English at school, if that even means out nowadays. However, I want to write it in a way that you'll read it how I've said it.
Yes.
And you being a blogger, you'll make sense of that. And when I were reading your book, I was like, I can't not read this in your voice.
That's all you
want. Which means
Yeah.
you've done a massively good job there. That is fantastic.
Well, it also means I actually wrote it.
Yeah.
Because lots of people were like...
More shade. Right, my final question. This is one thing that I want to ask every single guest I've asked everybody I've spoke to so far is, you've got to change your name officially. So, like, obviously you can't just go, I'd call myself Jesus Christ, because I don't think you're allowed to by law. Let's pretend you've got to do it officially.
Are you really not allowed to do that?
I don't think so. I think there's certain names that you're not actually allowed to change your name
Jesus
to.
Christi.
Yeah, I mean, I always think, well, there's loads of Spanish people called Jesus. I mean, they say Jesus and all that bollocks. It's Jesus. Right, but let's say, so we're in the UK, obviously. You've got to change your name and live with this now for the rest of your life. What are you changing? You can either just pick first name. You know it?
Yeah.
Go.
Jessica Rabbit.
Jessica Rabbit.
Right. Have you ever seen...
Rabbit surname.
Oh my God, have you never seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yeah.
Jessica
well,
Rabbit.
when I was a kid.
Right. Jessica 100% was always the name that I wanted to be called.
Right.
So that's my answer.
Easier to remember
Jessica.
than yours.
Yeah, I wanted to be called Jessica. I don't know what it is. I just love that name.
Jessica.
And then I was obsessed with Jessica Simpson.
Right.
And Rabbit, because that's the first thing that came to mind, because Jessica Rabbit. Also, she's very sexy. Don't you remember her?
I do, but when you said she's very sexy, I'm like, is she not an animated
She is
character?
an animated character, but come on
I struggle to find...
You
it's
said
like,
you
have
were
you heard those people?
open-minded.
I am, but animated things being sexy, I'm not so sure. Me and Donetta did...
And she was like with a what's it man? She was with a... Because it was real life. I can't like...
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I mean...
Do you remember?
I suppose it's only really
it was
sexy
very
if you
much...
transfer it into being a real person.
But she was with a real person in the movie.
Yeah, in the movie. It's not real.
But she's like... she's a very like sexualized character.
Yeah.
I mean...
So that's who you want to be?
Yeah, I want to be Jessica Rabbit.
Oh, that's
she's
fine.
like the polar opposite of me.
So it'd be jessica.com.
Yeah. I mean, that would never be available.
No, probably not. That's easy. That were easy. Like, I asked Jeff this and we went on for about 3 hours about his actual name. I asked Lisa this and she had a really funny story. That podcast will be coming up at some point with Lisa Hensby. That were really
I saw that on Twitter.
Yeah, did you see the little clip that I'd put up?
I saw because she was. Wait, Sabrina.
Yeah.
I did see that.
Sabrina, and a story behind it was fantastic. You're just straight in Jessica Rabbit.
Jessica Rabbit. I knew Jessica just because I've had that question before.
Yeah.
If you could have any other name. It's been 9 years. I've been asked a lot of questions.
Right, I think we're going to wrap up. That's that. Everyone knows where to find you. You've got it on your mug. It's Mikhila.com.
Correct. Mikhila. And it's phonetic. How anybody can't say it.
Once you look at it, actually look at the letters,
Mikhila.
you know it actually says.
Once you look at the letters, which is a name.
No, but you know when usually when you look at something, you just see the M, the K, and the A, and instantly go Mikhila.
Obs.
Yeah, I mean I don't know why people do that. They're all idiots. I'd never do that. And what else are you? Miss Budget Beauty, but it is Mikhila McDaid on the main stuff, Instagram, Twitter.
I wanted to change my YouTube and people didn't like it.
What, you were going to just change it to just your name?
Yeah.
It's tricky when you're established like you.
Mm-hmm. Well, I also had a blog that was missbudgetbeauty.co.uk and I moved it to Mikhila.com, kept the domain.
Yeah.
And then it lapsed and I didn't realise it had lapsed. Someone else has taken it and they...
So someone else now is Miss Budget Beauty?
Shady as you like with it, yeah. They are using the logo that I used to use, that I paid for.
Off.
They're using like a lot of information in some of my old posts and stuff, but I have no idea what to do about it. And I don't want to pay someone to like do something about it.
Missbudgetbeauty.com.
.co.uk.
I'm going to have a look.
It's too expensive because I've made it expensive.
Yeah.
How frustrating is that? So someone is profiting from
your hard work.
domain that I made.
I mean, to be fair, hats off to them. They've figured a way to cheat the system. Well done. Although I'm going to be coming and have a look. I might leave a comment, a hate comment. I don't condone that. That's it. You can get me on at thatdavidpodcast on everywhere. And obviously go and check out all the David and Donetta stuff because that's the important stuff to me.
Obviously.
I have to keep up with that. Thank you very much for your time today. It's been mega. I think we've actually managed to record like 5. There's going to just be a full YouTube channel of this.
Yeah. 100%.
Amazing.
Well, I mean, if it's me, then I would be separating it. A new channel.
Yeah, that's it.
Why not?
Right, thank you very much. And see all you later. Bye. Right, if I press stop. That is it. That is it. That is it.
I know everyone from.
That is it.
I worked for East Yorkshire Glazing for 4 hours. And
For 4 hours?
4 hours. And I had the big cord flares in hot pink. Yeah. Used to wear like little Disney t-shirts and have loads of bracelets on. And I was bereft. And I walked into Asda that morning, but it's super multicultural.
Bombshell or whatever. I've never voted. It's because we actually stole it.
What do you think about what Joe Brand said? If I talk about it and people watch it and they don't like it, they will hate me. Is he a complete psychopath? Is he awful? Do we hate him?
Yeah.
Which is a horrible, tragic story.
Yeah.
The joke is hilarious. Like, do I want to do it
Yeah.
because I want people to know what I think, or do I want to do it because I think it'd do well on YouTube? Just a little bit to like lift. And I would never have known that she'd had it done. You can't get those eyebrows back after a while. You fucked them up.
Yeah.
It's been 4 hours.
4 hours we've been doing this.